And it looks like we are off. Number 69, the Canadian Chad Swain gets a great start. Then Childry, then Peck, Reese, and Harper as they hit into the first turn. We'll see if the Canadian, Canada, out front and trying to scamper away. So it is Swain, Childry, Peck.
Stringing out a little bit into 3. Again, this is 12 laps. This is 12 laps. This is a long race, so they've got to have a strategy. Can't win it all in the first lap, so they'll have to put some charge and challenge together late.
And it looks like Swain and Childry out front battling it out. I know there looked like there was a couple of passes going on back in the middle of the field. We'll try to get an update on that. We had a camera on it, couldn't get over there in time. So we'll try to see here as they come out of 5 into 6 and 7.
5 into turn 6. Still looks like Swain, Childry. I really am not sure who's in third. I'm going to say maybe Harper, but we'll have to see as they go into the triple Ds. Leaning way over.
Purcell third.
Is it Purcell?
Yeah.
Okay, Purcell.
So we got Swain, Childry, Purcell. Looks like Gage Reese is in 4th. Peck 5th. Try to see Chad Swain, the Canadian, absolutely blistering it. Childry trying to catch up and get a pass made. Purcell, Reese, Peck, as you see they come across the line here into turn 10. We're on board with Gage Reese as he's trying to catch these leaders here. And it is Swain, Childry, Purcell, Reese, Scott Peck, Nelson, Hawkins, Luke, Hack. Oh, it looks like Luke Carr Hack. So we're back on board here. So still Swain, Childry, Purcell, Reese, and Peck starting to lose the top 3 as they scamper away here. Young Gage Reese has already gapped Peck. See if he can make a run at the tail of Purcell here. As Swain and Childry are absolutely running away with this. Everything's starting to spread out now. So as they go in the triple D, it is still out front. Swain, the Canadian, Childry, Purcell, Reese, Peck, Nelson, Hawkins, Luke. Chad Swain starting to gap Childry now as Purcell is starting to slowly inch up on Childry. Swain, the Canadian, every time I've seen him run out here, absolutely blaze down a blistering pace, and he is flat laying it down today. Childry's trying to catch on. Purcell in full tug trying to catch on to Childry as they go into the first turn. Gage Reese still in 4th. Reese has gapped Peck. Peck has gapped Nelson. Hawkins and Luke are within 3 bikes of each other as they head into the first turn. Then Carr, then Hack, and that's it. So it looks like Swain's best lap so far is a 133.8. Childry's a 134.7. Purcell a 134.7. Reese a 137.6. Peck a 139.7. As we're into lap 3 here. Everybody's starting to stretch out. Race leader in turn 6, heading toward triple D. Gapping Childry more and more. Childry gapping Purcell a little more. Purcell will close in on the corners, and then Childry will pull away. Swain absolutely laying it down. The tall, skinny Canadian. If you ever see him in the paddock, he's got to be at least 6'5" or 6'6". Don't know how he curls up on that ride, but he flat does. Riding a 2013 R6. Childry and Purcell still the exact same spot they were a lap ago. They've got about a straightaway on Reese. Reese got about a half a straightaway to 3/4 a straightaway on Peck. And Nelson's trying to catch Peck. As they come around, Swain lays down a 134.1. Childry lays down a 134.3. and Purcell a 134.5. Reese crosses over his last lap a 137.2. He's got some work to do if he's going to make a run at these guys. Scott Beck comes across with a 141.6. Nelson a 141.5. Hawkins and Ryan Luke still going at it here. Hawkins still ahead of Luke. They're within a few tenths of each other. Then it's Carr, then it's Hack. As we switch around here. So we're zooming in here. It's Gage Reese as he dives into turn 7.
Race leaders now into turn 7 with no.
So the leaders still unchanged. Old Canada out front, Chad Swain, then Childry, then Purcell. Doesn't look like anybody's really putting any more of a gap on each other than before. As we check out Chad Swain dropping into turn 10. And you see the gap back to Childry and the gap from Childry to Purcell. Childry comes a little wide out. Purcell tucks in a little tighter, trying his best to catch on. But it doesn't look like he's making up any ground as we see young Gage Reese come around turn 10 as well, trying to lay it down. You don't see it here, but I see Kelly Reese showing Gage what the gap is, and I don't think his arms are long enough. But it sure is good to watch. Peck comes out of 10, still in 4th. Or no, 5th. Then Nelson. Hawkins and Luke still going at each other. Hawkins looks like he's pulled out about 2 more bike links. Probably about 6 or 7 right now on Luke.
Looks like the battle to watch at this point in time is Mike Hawkins and Ryan Luke.
As we've got the camera back on Swain out front.
So that's a good battle to keep an eye on as we have
As everybody's starting to stretch out here, I think it's later in the day. Lunch is setting in for some of these guys.
across the line here.
They're giving it their all, but it's very consistently spaced out. Swain's absolutely stepped away from Childry here.
Mike Carr
Pulled about a straightaway.
the battle themselves
Childry and Purcell.
and Luke battling.
Childry's pulled out. Probably another 3 or 4 bike links on Purcell. So I don't think that's going to change unless something happens here. That's probably going to be your running order to the end. Gage Reese a full straightaway behind them, trying to lay down some laps. And we've got a straightaway between Reese and Peck. Nelson's starting to catch Peck a little bit at a time as they go through Triple D here. As we watch that battle and flip over
I guess it's a pretty boring race at this
to turn 1.
spread out with really not a lot of excitement to talk about. Going back to
So as we got the camera on Hawkins and Nelson here, or not Hawkins and Nelson, Hawkins and Ryan Luke. Looks like about the same gap as last time between Luke and Nelson. As we switch back over to Nelson,
charge on Scott Peck as they are heading into the west side.
Carr and Hack heading into turn 10 here. Hack trying to get around Michael Carr. Heck pulls alongside him as they come across the finish line. Let's see if Heck can make this pass going into turn 1. So as we see the guys cycling through there for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Swain still out front by a good piece. Then Childry, then Purcell. Then back to Reese. We're halfway through here. King of the Mountain, you.
6 more laps to go.
As we show the battle here between Carr and Hack. It looks like Hack did get by Carr. As we cycle back through the leaders. There is Hawkins and Luke still going at it.
Gage Reese Reese is out there, running in fourth.
So as we switch back here,
Scott Peck is in fifth, coming out on the straightaway.
looks like Nelson and Peck
Going into
battling it out. Looks like Peck's going to get into turn one. So we try to switch over to that camera. As we catch the battle between Peck and Nelson, Peck ahead of Nelson here as they come out of three, going down the backstretch. It looks like Peck's going to lead him here as Nelson's trying to close up. Nelson right next to him. And it looks like Nelson makes the pass going in to turn 5 on Peck. We'll see if Peck dives back under. Peck dives back under. Nelson runs wide. Peck gets back by him as they head into turn 7. Peck is out front and gapped Nelson. Looks like Nelson ran a little wide there as he was running it hot into that corner. Peck dove underneath and made the move and has gapped him. Your running order up front still the same. Swain, Childry, Purcell, Reese, Peck, Nelson, Hawkins, Luke, Hack, and Carr. As we see Gage Reese coming out of turn 10, blasting down a straightaway. Reese turning consistent 137s. And it looks like Nelson is closed in on Peck again. See if Peck, oh, Peck goes deep. Stabs on the brakes. We'll see as they come out of turn 10. Looks like Peck's going to have the drive, keeping the hammer down. Nelson's going to try to catch him. And we'll see if Nelson can try to do the job on the backstretch. Heading into turn 5 again. As we cut back to the battle between Peck and Hack as they come out of 1 and head into turn 2. Peck still ahead of Nelson. See if Nelson closes here on him. Nelson drives in deep, closes on him. He's as close as he was a lap ago. We'll see if Nelson can make the move again on the backstretch. Heading into turn 5. Nelson pulls alongside of him. And it looks like Nelson makes the pass on Peck. Sticks it. Peck and Nelson neck and neck here. Nelson finally gaps Peck. And it looks like Nelson's got about 2 bikes on Peck. We'll see if Peck can make a move heading into Triple D. As your leaders still remain the same out front. Swain, Childry, Purcell, Reese.
Through turn 6 they go. Looks like still Hawkins and Luke, nose to tail.
And it's still Nelson and Peck. Peck looks like Peck's not making up any room on Nelson here as we're on board with Gage Reese. As you can see that lean angle coming out of turn 1, heading into 2.
Watch it this time is
So as we're cycling through our cameras here, trying to find the battles.
Luke taking a little bit wider line.
So it looks like Hawkins still ahead of Luke here. Same gap as it's been.
Head down and continues to
Hawkins head down, Luke trying to track him down.
Ryan Luke.
As we're back to the battle between Peck and Nelson here. Nelson still ahead of Peck. Peck a lot closer than he was last lap.
Like Swain coming out on the straightaway with Childry in second.
Swain still good lead here
And it looks like Purcell's
on Children and Purcell as they're starting to hit lap traffic
Childry
of Hack and Carr.
looks behind, sees who's there, puts his head down and motors down the straightaway. No change on the race leader. Chad
As we cycle back to 4th place rider Gage Reese as he turns into turn 10
last time by was 134.
and blast down. We'll see what his lap times are for this one
Childry's
as he comes across the stripe.
5.138. Purcell's doing
Lap time drops it a couple of tenths, 137.2. His lap before was a 137.4. So his lap times are
a little better time.
getting quicker as the race wears down. Nelson still ahead of Peck by about 4 bikes. Oh, and Peck closes it up, coming out of 9, heading into 10. We'll see if Peck can make a move here. Peck trying to close it up. Goes around the outside. Nelson shuts him down. Peck has the brake check. Nelson blasts down the straightaway. And Peck is in chase mode yet again as he had that pass look like made. And Nelson just chopped him. So as we catch him coming out of turn 1 and 2, Nelson still now well ahead of Peck. As Nelson shut the door in turn 10 on Peck. As Peck had the momentum. Now we got Purcell and Childry coming around. Looks like Purcell's made a move here late in the race. Purcell dives to the inside of Childry. Going to try to make it happen. Childry shuts him down. Purcell lost some ground as Childry shut him down, but Purcell has made quite a few seconds up here to get up on Childry's back end to try to make a move. They head into turn 1. Still about 3 bikes here. Nobody touching Chad Swain today. The Canadian absolutely out there. But Purcell dropping into turn 3, goes inside of Childry. Oh, it's super tight. Childry pulls him coming out. Purcell doing everything he can to get around. As they head into turn 5, we're going to see who's going to hit the brakes first. Purcell hits the brakes first. Childry stays on it. We're going to see what happens here. This is the battle here for the next couple of laps. Childry trying to keep the momentum up. They head into 6th. And it looks like Purcell's just going to try to make his move here. Purcell rolling the outside. Childry dumps to the inside. It looks like Purcell's going to try to make this move here in the Triple D or into the last turn. As it seems like Purcell's easing out and trying to catch his momentum and get him through the exit of the turns. Swain still well ahead here. Purcell closes in on the back end of Childry. As we catch him here, Purcell going outside, Childry inside. Purcell trying to make it work on the outside. He's going to have the inside going into the last turn. Oh, and they're side by side as they go into turn 10. Who's going to break first? And it looks like Purcell breaks first. Childry grits around. It's going to be a drag race off the corner going into the last lap here. Childry gapping Purcell. Purcell all over Childry as they about a bike length in between them as they go to turn 1, and we're going to see who comes out of turn 1. They come out of turn 1. It's still Childry and Purcell. I think Purcell is going to pick his spot here. Is coming out of Triple D going into turn 9. He had him. Purcell drops in again, tries to make the inside work. Doesn't happen. Childry shuts him down, blast down the backstretch. Looks like Purcell's going to set him up and try to get him here, probably either in Triple D and or turn 9. We're going to see. Childry pulls away on Purcell. Looks like Purcell's trying to pick his place here. Chad Swain up front and gone. Nowhere in sight. Childry drops into 6 and 7. Purcell not close. Tries to get a run coming out of the corner, and it looks like he's right where he was a lap ago. Maybe a bike length back. But we'll see if Purcell can make it happen here in the last couple of turns. And here they come. Coming into 8 and 9, Purcell not looking like he's close enough. Childry put the hammer down. We're going to see if Purcell's going to drive to the bottom. He does. Purcell going the outside, going to be inside again. What's he going to do? Who's going to break first? Purcell on the inside, and Purcell breaks first. Childry shuts the door. We'll see if Purcell gets him on the outside. Purcell goes outside, cuts back to the inside, and it's going to be a drag race, but it looks like Childry's going to take it by about 2 bikes. Holy cow, what a race. Woo! So as we come back around, Swain takes the win. Childry, Purcell, Reese in 4th. Coming around, heading into the last turn. So as we cycle through our cameras, try to find the last battle up. And the last battle is Nelson and Peck. Looks like Peck had him. Nelson shut him down. They head into Triple D. As we got our cameras working overtime here, Peck dives to the inside. Nelson shuts him down, drives out turn. They head into turn 8, going into 9. We'll see if Peck can close the door here and make a move on Nelson. Nelson runs wide. Peck follows. Unless something changes, it does not look like Peck's going to have the momentum to get up close enough to make the move. Unless there's a bobble here, it looks like it's going to be Nelson and Peck rounding out your 5 and 6 here. We'll see. We'll see. Peck gets momentum coming out of the corner. Oh, Nelson gets him by about a bike length at the line. Don't know if Nelson bobbled or Peck just ham-fisted the throttle, but it was a drag race coming down to the start-finish line.